Yo, back with another video. I got a War League match between me and Sixlack. It's gonna be a Chaos Turbo Mirror. He goes first. Uses Thunder Dragon. Then Upstart. And sets one. I draw Torrential. Start here with Thunder Dragon. Then use Upstart just like he did. I draw Dekoichi. So the question here is if you should summon or set Dekoichi. I definitely considered the summoning Dekoichi line just because he has a pretty good chance of having knock in his hand since he doesn't have anything to set on field. He could have Torrential set. Let me think here. If I summon Dekoichi, I think summoning Dekoichi is fine, and I also think setting Dekoichi is fine. I decide to set it because he doesn't have any. I know he doesn't have any monsters in hand right now, and if he does knock Dekoichi, he loses his Dekoichis from deck, so he'll continue not to have any monsters. I won't have any monsters either, but I do have knock, so when he does draw a monster, I get to knock it. Yeah, I think you can go either way with this. Only issue is like Breaker, which is very possible. Yeah. But I do think setting is a little better. And you set Regeki Break also. If he summons Breaker, then you just Regeki Break back row, which could be Torrential. Sets a monster in a back row. I consider Regeki breaking this new back row. I just decided it wasn't necessary. I'd rather have this Regeki break to potentially destroy a Chaos monster or his next set monster after I knock this. So I decide to hold for now. And I draw another Dekoichi, which is really good. So just flip Dekoichi here. No reason to knock first, just because... I mean, yeah, it's possible I could knock a spy, or you could get the situation where you deco into spy, then knock spy. I just don't think that's worth the possibility of going knock and then him chaining something like Wing Blast on my set monster. So I just want to get this off first. I draw MST. Only play here is just to knock. He thinks about this for a really long time. Let me actually just check log. Activate knock here. So he thought about that for 1 minute and 9 seconds. So I'm pretty sure now there's a Solemn set. I don't know which one is Solemn yet. Yeah, it's pretty unlikely that you would bluff think for 1 minute and 9 seconds. And also, what this got me to think is, if he's thinking about Solemning to protect Night Assailant, This means he has no other darks for sure. And it also tells me he probably has Sorcerer and BLS in hand. He at least has one. At least has one Chaos. But probably even two to consider Solemning for a Night Assailant. He also only banished one Night Assailant, which he definitely wouldn't even consider Solemning if he has another Night Assailant in hand, so this is probably just a deck with one Night Assailant. So I just attack for 14, set the Deco, and set the MST. I think I consider if I should set MST or not. Oh, I don't set it. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. Just to play around, like... I don't know. I think setting and keeping in hand is both fine. He goes for Snatch. No reason to Regeki Break here. If he has Tsukuyomi, I would just chain Regeki Break, target Snatch to Tsukuyomi's effect. So yeah. He goes for the attack. Do I want to Regeki Break now? I definitely could. Only issue is I don't think I need to. I still can save this Regeki Break for something more impactful. So the worst thing he's going to do with this Dekoichi is just tribute it for Thunder Dragon, which I'm okay with. I still have like Regeki Break MST for back rows, and then BLS, or just whatever I draw. Yeah, he distributes it for Thunder Dragon, and then sets another back row. So now, I have to consider about this Regeki Break on the newest back row. Let's say this back row is Dushoot. Then he would see this hand. He would send back BLS, so all I have is Sorcerer then. Where if I Regeki Break new back row, I get to just summon Sorcerer attack, and if he Solemns, I don't really care because I still have MST BLS. I do still think that one of the first two are Solemn, but it's a spot where I don't care about Solemn. So I'm going to just go for Regeki Break on new back row to avoid any potential Dushoot stuff. And it was Dushoot. I draw a third Dekoichi. Yeah, so here I don't want to summon Chaos Sorcerer and just attack into Mirror Force or Ring. I'd rather wait till he flips Thunder Dragon so that Sorcerer gets to banish priority and get the +1. And I have a very clear play with Dekoichi set. Do I set Torrential with this? I think I do. Like, just in case he decides to keep Thunder Dragon set and then add another monster, I get to go something like flip Dekoichi Torrential, or if he does flip Thunder Dragon, attacks, and then sets a monster, and I draw Sanyan Serpent, I get to go summon Torrential, There might be some line where I go sorcerer, summon, priority, he chains something, and then I could chain torrential. Maybe something like if he charities, charity discard a dark. I have torrential for BLS. So I think it's pretty clear you said torrential. He just flips and attacks. I draw Serpent. So now I do have a Serpent torrential line. He doesn't add anything though. I draw another Sorcerer. I could easily just set Serpent here, but I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. I know his hand is still one Thunder Dragon, and at least one Chaos Monster. So I don't really want to take the line where I just set Serpent and block an attack each turn and pray that he summons Breaker, because that won't happen. So I want to just summon Sorcerer here. And if he has Snatch, I still have MST, of course. And if he has answers to MST, I still have two live Chaos in hand. And I see he still has no other monsters to set, which are the best answers to Sorcerer. So he'll need to top deck some way to answer Sorcerer, while I can continue adding pressure with Serpent, Thunder Dragon. So yeah. He adds one back row. Do I want to MST it? Oh, Snatch is gone. Right, Snatch is gone. I think Snatch being gone is the reason I do go for MST here. Even though I still know that one of the first two are Solemn. Maybe it would be good to wait for him to waste one of the first two and then MST the one that I would know is Solemn. But at the same time, I still have so much to push through Solemn. And something I'm worried about would be like a set Mirror Force here that would be able to just stop my Chaos Sorcerer. You can go either way on this. But there's like, you can MST another Dust Shoot, which would put back my BLS, which is currently my best card. Yeah, I think I decided to go for MST here on new card, which was Raigeki Break. So that Raigeki Break could discard Thunder Dragon, it could also discard a Dark Monster, and it of course answers my Sorcerer, so I'm very cool with that outcome. First card set could still be Torrential, so I definitely can't summon Thunder Dragon here. I just have to put Sorcerer to attack and just attack. Okay, so the first card ended up being Ring this whole time. So now I'm pretty sure that the remaining card is just Solemn. We have a decision in May Phase 2 here, whether to tribute for Thunder Dragon or not. I decide with Torrential set. I just want to keep the Serpent Torrential in place instead of putting a Thunder Dragon on field, and also I think that's it. the debate for card destruction would be I would get my Serpent back next turn, but I think it doesn't matter that much. He sets a back row, and I draw Spy. I think a lot of people might just set Spy here, but I actually just want to tribute for Thunder Dragon to continue adding pressure. He very clearly has a hand that can't do much. He's just waiting for a few pieces, likely a dark monster. And if I set Spy and then next turn flip Spy, he torrentials. That wouldn't be bad for me, really. I have Sorcerer to summon. Set Spy is probably fine, but I value getting the Serpent back to my hand on the next turn so that I can have a... Well, I'm not using card destruction, really. It's mostly just to add pressure right here, and I'm still okay just torrentialing my Thunder Dragon. I decide to flip Serpent just because why not? It's an additional decision window for my opponent. I get 16 in, putting him to 37, and here I do something very cool, I think, which is set card destruction. I do this because the new back row could be MST. I also know, I'm pretty sure that the old back row is still Solemn. So if he draws into some combo pieces like Graceful and finds some OTK line, I want myself to have two back rows for him to think about the OTK instead of him just Solemning through my Torrential and that's it, I lose. Whereas if I have two back rows and then I Torrential something, he Solemns, he still has to deal with this one back row. That is very likely something that stops him. You know, I have Mirror Force Ring, Book, Discard Trap, all that stuff. And I'm not planning to use this card destruction anytime soon since I have both of my remaining Chaos in hand. And this baits MST, which is an excellent outcome for me. And he decides to use card destruction, which I'm not happy with because I lose both of my remaining Chaos, so I have no Chaos left. So I'm gonna have to find a way to win this game with my other stuff. The good thing for me is that it also discards his BLS and Sorcerer, so he was just completely dead. And this is just a desperate card destruction from him. And my draws off this are really good. Pot, Duo, Faith. So all he has left now is one Chaos Sorcerer, and I still have Torrential. So I'm feeling pretty good about this game from this point. I take back the Serpent. Does shoot. Okay. So now you have to worry about sequencing. Do you want to use Duo? Do you want to use Pot? I definitely don't want to use Duo because he can just chain a Discard Trap and I don't know yet if has any Wing Blast in his deck. He does show one Regeki Break, but that doesn't always mean they don't have any Wing Blasts. And yeah, I decided to just start with Pot. He thinks about it, decides not to use Solemn, and I draw Sangan Charity, so it's really nice. And same thing here, I just decide to go Charity, still holding Duo. And if he Solemn's Charity, I get to just Duo the rest of his cards, so. There was a decision here on what to discard as the second card. I'm definitely not discarding Breaker because I know he's got a Solemn somewhere, and it's also 1600 attack in a game today where all my chaos are gone. Obviously not discarding Duo, not discarding Faith, not discarding Solemn, not discarding Snatch. So it's going to be between Mirror Force and Sangan. Sangan seems like the obvious discard. However, I decide that I actually just will never need this Mirror Force, because all he has in his deck is just a Chaos Sorcerer, and he's never really going to be in a position where I'm going to want to use this Mirror Force. Because I'll still have Snatch in hand, Snatch Breaker, all Torrential things. So I decide to keep the Sangan, which is 1000 attack in a game today where I have no chaos left. And it still has searches, it still has another Faith. But mostly I'm just valuing its 1000 attack, because I don't want to run out of threats. So I discard Mirror Force. Curious how long that took me. Let's see, send Serpent. Not too long, 57 seconds. Now I could summon Breaker, but if the set is Spy, then I just attack both my monsters into Spy, and then my current answer for Spies is just this Torrential, and then I'd be losing my 1600 Thunder Dragon, 1600 Breaker, which are two of my biggest threats remaining in this game state. So I just decide to attack with Thunder Dragon. Oh yeah, I set Duo first, because why not? Random Morphing Jar. And then just Duo main phase 2. He changed Jar of Greed. And I hit Nobleman, which is really nice. I was actually going to be setting Sangan here, but once I hit the Nobleman and he has none left in deck, not even BLS, I'm completely free to just set Faith and just go for a Faith Torrential line. If he attacks Faith, then I would just be able to attack over with Thunder Dragon, and also that would open up my Snatch to destroy Spies. So yeah, Faith Solemn looks good here. He sets a monster, I take Serpent, and now I have a 100% OTK here. Well, no, I don't have a 100% OTK. But the plan is flip Charity, flip Faith, and Let's see if he flips Solemn. After a lot of thinking, he does flip Solemn. And once he Solemns, I can just Solemn and then Torrential, Summon Breaker, attack for game. On to game 2. This is a pretty good hand for me. He uses Thunder Dragon, sets monster in a back row, and flips Dust Shoot. And puts back Faith. I use Pot, which draws Kaiku Raigeki Break. Okay, so there's a decision point here now. When you get Dust Shooted and they see Mind Control and they have a set monster, it's incredibly difficult to get any more value with this Mind Control the rest of the game. Like, it would just create this mind game every single turn of, did he set something real? Is he playing around Mind Control? It does prevent them a little from, like, their chaos monsters. It also does prevent them from setting real monsters, right? But that doesn't mean they won't set real monsters, so you're just guessing a lot with Mind Control. So I think the best spot right for the Mind Control is right now, because this monster could be Spy, could be Dekoichi, so I just want to get the value off it right now. And if it is Spy, which is the most likely outcome, that would get me a Spy, which I can then use for this Night Assailant Raigeki Break. And that also defends my life points. And what is the other option exactly? Would it be Kaiku attack? Or just pass turn with maybe MST set? Yeah, that just seems all bad. There's Kaiku attack into, like, Tribe, but that's pretty rare. It'll just be mostly Kaiku attack into Spy. So I go for the Mind Control, hit Tribe. And now I have to think about how I want to proceed with this turn. I could just give him the Tribe back and swing over it with Kaiku next turn. But there's a better line. When he sets Tribe as his Mind Control bait, it means he can't have Sangan and he can't have Serpent, because those are better Mind Control baits. Also, if he has Serpent, there would be no reason to set Tribe, because you want to keep Tribe Serpent and as a play. And he would also just be able to tribute Serpent for Thunder Dragon anyway. So, what I'm thinking is Tribe to kill itself by discarding something and then setting Night Assailant, which will deal with his next monster. And then have Kaiku on top of that to banish that monster. He doesn't know about Kaiku yet, so that's good. So yeah, so now I have to decide what to discard for Tribe. I like MST, because that could just hit any back row. I need Kaiku, I need Night Assailant, and I will need BLS at some point. It's definitely not discarding BLS. That leaves just Raigeki Break. It's the worst card in my hand. The only way it becomes good is by drawing Thunder Dragon or Serpent, really. So MST just is much better than Raigeki Break here. And then just set MST with Night Assailant. He has Breaker, he has Breaker. Okay, he does this, I MST. He does know about MST, but I still think I have to MST anyway. Just so I could get this Night Assailant Kaiku thing going. Guaranteed. And this is a huge Kaiku, because it's going to banish his Light Dark. And he has 2 Thunder Dragons remaining in hand. And I hit a Spy, which is something that would have defended against Kaiku. And now you set Mirror Force to destroy a Tsukuyomi. That could possibly answer this. You know, play around maybe a Snatch that would try to destroy me. I draw Solemn. Question here is whether I should attack with both, and which it would be a 3-turn clock. I just think it's a bit too optimistic to think that you're actually just going to be attacking for 2,000 each turn. So I decide to just save my Night Assailant in case of Mirror Force. Yeah. Just attack for the 18. No reason to banish Tribe. I know there's no premature call to deal with, and there can always be a random sided return from a different dimension, so keep the Tribe there. And add Solemn here. Yeah, you make Heavy Storm better, but you can't really play around with that kind of stuff right now. You know his hand is just 2 Thunder Dragons. Like, say he draws Pot, Graceful, there's so many things that all want to Solemn. And also if I draw Thunder Dragon, I have game with Solemn. So I'll just go Thunder Dragon, discard, tribute Night Assailant, summon BLS, and have Solemn to back it up. Sets a monster, I draw Sangan. Yeah, play here seems pretty clear. It's just summon Sangan, trying to continue adding pressure. Could definitely be another Spy for sure. Yeah, you gotta attack with Kaiku because it could just be Koichi. It could be Faith, it's possible, but the other options are just more likely. Could also be Night Assailant, which would be a punish for attacking with Sangan. So he finds his second Spy, which gets a 3rd. Nothing further for me to do. He decides to mind control Kaiku. I think for a second about this, and then just decide if you got heavy, you got heavy. He goes for an attack. No reason for me to mind control. No reason for me to Mirror Force. Obviously, he tributes, and as expected, he will go for Chaos Sorcerer, and I have Solemn. So this is like a huge play for me, because now he fails to banish my Kaiku, and my Kaiku will still be on my field and destroy his Thunder Dragon. And he has no Thunder Dragons left, so it's just the one he has set on field. I draw into the Koichi. Yeah, only play here is just attack Thunder Dragon, sang into defense, and set to Koichi. their upstart, which gives them pot. X for priority. I don't even think my back row can beat a shoot, but it's good to play some kind of mind games like that sometimes. Okay, how to play here. I think it's pretty clear. You go for Dekoichi flip, try to find an answer to a possible set faith. Instead of like attacking first. I get spy. So now we have a situation where I don't want to attack into a faith, right? I also don't want to attack into Mirror Force. And I also don't want to put Kaiku to defense. So I'm going to put him in the situation where he has to consider whether he wants to flip faith and risk Kaiku attacking over it for damage plus banishing his stuff. So that leaves me with the decision of whether to set spy or faith. He wasn't able to answer Dekoichi last turn. And if I set spy and spy effect does happen to go off, that would leave me with 5 monsters, which you never ever ever want in a turbo deck unless you have a plan and can answer it. So that leaves me to just go for faith. He draws knock for faith, which banishes my light, and of course that hurts. And he only banishes 1 faith from deck, so now I'm almost sure his defense monster is faith. He thinks for a really long time, over 3 minutes. And he decides to take mind control. And this is where the Kaiku is just so good. Because he could have taken pot, but he doesn't have anything to answer Kaiku. He would be hoping that he draws some way to answer Kaiku off pot, but he didn't want to risk this. He could also take Book of Moon and just defend Kaiku and then take pot. Like, that seems like a completely good line. Of course, then I wouldn't even have to attack into faith, so it still creates a little stalemate situation. But he decides to go for mind control, which takes Kaiku. I'm not sure about this line from him, but it just shows you how good Kaiku is. That it would make him make such a line when he has like Pot of Greeting Grave. Yeah, he's just gonna take the line that goes for game, and this is my Mirror Force that's just been sitting here for many turns. I don't know, it seems a little optimistic to think that this could be a bluff. Like, think about what bluff it can actually be. And I actually can't name one. Like, knock would be used, card destruction. I mean, I'm going second. It's unlikely I keep card destruction in deck. Yeah, I actually can't think of a back row that I could have that wouldn't be able to answer this BLS right here. So I think it's a mistake from him. I think his Book of Moon line was pretty good, actually. It gives him time, and I just wouldn't be able to have any way to play through it well. So yeah, just Mirror Force. And this was his backup to Mirror Force. So I can't currently answer this, but I have plenty of time and plenty of outs to this. All I need is a light, a Thunder Dragon, and I have plenty of ways to stall him out. So now it's between, do you want to set Spy or do you want to go for Breaker? How long has this back row been here? I wasn't paying attention. I was definitely paying attention to this while I was playing the game, but I wasn't paying attention to it right now while reviewing. When did he set it? It was set... When was it set? I don't know. But it definitely can't be Jargreed. I know that for sure. And it's not Solemn. I decide that right now would be the best time to summon Breaker to destroy it, instead of later. Just because if it is something good, he can draw another back row that answers my Breaker. That would stop me from destroying whatever this card is. I think it's dead. Yeah, I think it ends up just being a dead dash shoot. So that's not good for me. I go for Deco in defense, just because I don't want him to go for attack for 900. Yeah. He decides to just banish, which I'm not sure about because I already have a flip Knight Assailant in grave for my other Knight Assailant. I mean, he's playing around Tsukiyomi. If I draw Tsukiyomi or Book, I would be able to use the Deco, so it's completely fine. Which is also why putting it in defense is good, because if it was in attack mode, he would just be able to attack for 900 instead. So I draw a Jar, and I once again switch to defense. My Mirror Force is gone, so I wouldn't be bluffing anything. So I want him to just continue banishing, saving my life points. He has knock, and then banishes, and then passes. What card could he have that just passes? There's a Snatch. There could be another Mind Control potentially. There actually isn't that many cards it could be. Like, potential third Dash Shoot. Anyway, I draw Wing Blast, I Jar. I'm really trying to find Thunder Dragon here. I still don't draw it. However, I do draw into a way that I could summon Chaos, because now I could Wing Blast, discard BLS, and summon Sorcerer. And also, he doesn't have a Dark Engrave, so putting the Sorcerer on top would be quite devastating for him if he can't find a Dark on his next draw. He goes for the attack, And now I have a decision. If I Wing Blast here, all I can really do is just summon Sorcerer, attack for 23. If the card he drew is, let's say, a Dekoichi, Sangan, Sorcerer just wouldn't do anything to those. He would just be able to wall it out, and I would have lost all my resources. Also keep in mind, if I take 23, I'm still at 26, so I'm still not worried about a ring. So I just take the 23 here, hope to draw a Thunder Dragon, and I'll just win with Wing Blast on the next turn. He sets a back row, and I draw Snatch. So there's a lethal line here. I can just go Wing Blast, discard BLS, target back row. Book of Moon is gone already, so there's absolutely no way that he would be able to stop me from winning. However, I only see that line after I activate Snatch. I saw it immediately after activating Snatch. He just goes for Ring here, and unfortunately I can't use Wing Blast to target Ring because you can't activate Wing Blast on face-up cards like this. You would be able to activate Raigeki Break in this situation, so I would have won here if this was Raigeki Break. However, this doesn't really matter because I can just Wing Blast whatever he does next and then attack for game Sorcerer. But yeah, I did miss a way to win here. I could have just Wing Blasted back row and then Snatch, summon Sorcerer. But it's very likely that he'll be placing a card on field on this turn, which he does. And I Wing Blast that. And I know for a fact that this back row he sets just can't be anything. Because he would have summoned Kaiku last turn. Yeah, he definitely would have summoned Kaiku last turn if he had it. So that means he didn't set this back row last turn, which just means it can't be anything. So I'm like very confident here that the Sorcerer attack is going through. And it does. And that's the game. I think I played like basically perfectly until that missed Wing Blast line. But it also wasn't very punishing because there was still basically no way to lose after that. He would have had to not place any cards on field, and I would have to keep bricking. But I had Thunder Dragon on top, so it wouldn't matter. Okay, so that was War League Week 6. Alright, thanks for watching.